You're listening to Austinpreneur, a podcast highlighting Austin startups, entrepreneurs, and innovators. Discover the importance of your network, meet the people supporting your journey, and connect with the community making it all happen. To learn how we do it, visit capitalfactory.com.
Welcome, everyone, to the Austinpreneur podcast, where we discuss everything startups and entrepreneurs in Texas. I'm your host today, Josh Baer, and I'm joined by Gerald Youngblood, co-founder and CEO of Tankee. Gerald, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, you and I have gotten to know each other pretty well, and I've really loved getting to know your story. And it's, we get to work with so many interesting companies here, but it's always fun when it's something that either I can use personally in my life or affects me or my family. And that was something that's been really fun about this. And so, I know right before I met Gerald, I've got kids. My kids are 7, 8, and 10 years old, and they are all into iPads and watching videos online. They watch Netflix, they watch YouTube Kids, they watch other Disney shows and things like that. And it's been a real challenge for me trying to parent that and figuring it out. And I'm pretty good on technology. I understand how this stuff works and how to set up parental controls. And I just can't imagine how other kids do it or other parents do it. And I watch what other kids are watching and what their parents give them. And they just don't even realize what they're handing them when they give them unrestricted YouTube or something like that. And it's on some, 4 or 5 year old's iPad. And so it really was really on my mind. It was becoming a big problem. And I think one of the big aha moments for me was realizing one of those what do you know that everybody else doesn't know? That everybody looks at YouTube Kids and I think by default thinks it's a good solution because it's YouTube. Mm-hmm. And they're well, it's YouTube and YouTube's good and YouTube's the biggest thing out there. And so YouTube Kids must be pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. And what I realized over time is YouTube Kids is garbage. It's YouTube Kids is the kids hate YouTube Kids and the parents hate YouTube Kids if the parents look at it. I hated it because every time I looked at it, they were watching garbage. It was just either something that was literally a commercial tricked into being a video for the kids to watch. So it wasn't offensive. It was just totally not what I wanted my kids to be watching and felt like they were being tricked, right? Or it was inappropriate stuff, and it doesn't have to be a swear word to be inappropriate, right? And there was lots of just crass, just garbage stuff I didn't want them to be watching. And then they hated it too because to the kids, YouTube Kids just sounds like lame YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's YouTube without they know something's missing. They don't know what's missing. And then what they really hated, and I heard from them over and over again, is we want to subscribe. We want to comment. Why? Because every video they watch says subscribe, comment, click something down below. And they feel totally left out. They're wait, we're not part of it. So I was just hating, I was hating YouTube Kids. My kids were hating YouTube Kids. And then I met you and learned about Tankee. And Tankee, in that way, it was just perfect timing. And it was really something that, as I know really struck a nerve with me. So tell me, how is Tankee different than YouTube Kids?
So again, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk about this because Tankee, for me as a dad of a 9-year-old, is not just a business opportunity. It was a chance to solve a problem that I deal with on a daily basis, which is that the reality is that kids want to watch this influencer content. It's a new form of media and creative exploration that I don't think a lot of people understand. It can be really, really great. The problem you run into, though, is that it's built in a place where anybody can post anything at any time. It's not built for kids, right? The places where they're watching the content. And so kids are being sucked into really something that was built for adults that just happens to have some content that's good and some content that's not.
It's like a mall with a nightclub and a bar and a movie theater, and they can't really tell which one they're in.
Exactly. And it's all smushed together, right? It's you've got HBO and HGTV and the Disney Channel all smushed on one channel. And so the struggle that I was running into was, I'm a gamer. I love playing games, watching games, going to gaming stuff. And as my son got older, it was something that we would do together. And then I realized that he saw these influencers the way I looked at Michael Jordan or movie stars, growing up. And so he wanted to watch the stuff. So I would watch it with him. And there were so many landmines, whether it was the next video or ads, or you think that someone is kid safe, and then you hear swear words, or you hear them talking about people in a horrible way. And so I realized there was nothing that was built for kids. And so that's really why we started Tankee, so that parents can protect their kids from inappropriate content, but give kids access to the stuff that they love, and they can watch it unattended. Like, you can actually feel confident that it's going to be okay while they watch the content. So that's why we built Tankee. And Tankee's different because it's real human beings that are looking at this stuff. And we care about the context of what's happening. We look at things like screen names and the chat boxes and things that are really hard to filter out with an algorithm. We also care about kids' privacy, which we protect and really hold dear. So we can create an environment that's similar to the things that I grew up on, with Nickelodeon or Disney, where it's actually made for kids. Not automated and machine learned to drive up ads to kids or things like that. It's made for kids.
And so is this all videos of you playing video games?
No, that would be terrible. So there are people that are way more talented.
Who's on there? What are they watching? Where's this content coming from?
So the content, it's gaming content. So if you think about games like Minecraft or Roblox or Rocket League, they're family-friendly games, but they're content creators that actually either play through games or create actual custom series and content around games. And the cool thing about it is, because they're video games, if you think about Minecraft, we have a gamer, e03, and she creates what I would say are like Saturday morning cartoons in Minecraft. Their characters, their story development, there's an arc. It's really amazing. So that's the type of content that's on there. And it's not me, people way more talented that are, creating this content every day.
And is this content, is it only on Tankee? Can they find content that they can find on YouTube too? Are they going to recognize what's there? Yeah,
so we have a combination. So we do have content that could also be found on YouTube. We just ensure that it's 100%, family friendly and safe. And so it's well-known influencers, influencers that currently have followings in the millions, you'll find on Tankee. But in addition to that, we also have Tankee Original Series that we just launched when we officially launched the app on November 14th, where it's what we've produced with these influencers and it's exclusive content. So it's made specifically for kids, just for Tankee, and that's the only place you'll find it.
Awesome. So why did they give the content to you? Like, you need to get their permission to put their content on Tankee? Like, why are these, famous YouTube stars who have millions of followers on YouTube, why are they putting their content on Tankee? And why would they give you your own content, custom content that isn't anywhere else? They are interested for a couple of reasons. One thing I've found is that they're striving to really cater towards their audience. They know that their audience are kids. And so the idea of creating a space that's just for those kids in a safe environment really appeals to them. Also, it's a way for them to create and expand, their revenue stream as well. So we do work with all of the influencers that you'll find on Tankee. So we work with them, we license some of their content, we work with them to create content. So it's a way for them to diversify, because it's really easy to be demonetized on these other platforms. They change their algorithm. You're not, relevant today like you were yesterday. It really can have an impact on their livelihood as well. The other thing is, we want to create with them. Right? We want them to explore things that they think are interesting, that maybe aren't going to be at the top of the algorithm, but is really, really great content. So it allows them to create, because they're artists, and I think they should be respected, for that art that they're delivering. That's awesome. At the beginning, there's a chicken and egg problem though, right? You have Tankee, you have an app, but it doesn't have any content in it, and there's nobody watching it. So how do you get the first kind of big content people to put their content on there? Why? I get like the vision of why they'd put it on once it's already going, but like, how do you get that first content on there so that there's something there for people to watch?
You talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. I think the thing for us is, and from my background, I was at AMD for 11 years and dealt with gaming on a day-to-day basis, so knew a lot of publishers, knew some influencers, and knew some people. And so
So you had some relationships, right?
Yeah, we had some relationships, and we started to reach out to people. And what we found is there's a network effect, right? So as soon as you get that first influencer, they have friends, right? And they talk. And once there's some credibility around what you're doing, it really has not been difficult to find the creators, and it's something that they're looking for an outlet. It's funny,
So maybe to add on to my, kids hate YouTube Kids and parents hate YouTube Kids. Maybe the creators hate YouTube Kids too.
Yeah, they never even refer to YouTube Kids
or
actually.
YouTube.
It's
it's not even a thing.
Yeah, well, I think it's people don't think there's another option, right? Another way to go about this until it's there. And so once they see that there is the ability to go and create things and make money based on making great content, and there's another option out there, they're very open to it.
Yeah. And that's also part of the idea of expanding the market, right? Like me using Uber and Lyft doesn't take away from the taxi market because I never took taxis. Right. And YouTube Kids for a lot of these large YouTubers probably isn't even part of their picture. It's not a channel. It's just something they don't even notice. Right. So what about from the YouTube side? Like, why does YouTube Kids suck? Like, there must be somebody who cares about YouTube Kids and is trying to make it good, right? Like, it's like, it's a massive organization. They're getting lots of views, millions and billions of views, I'm sure. Like, why isn't it better? Why can you make something so much better, so much faster? I don't get it. Why?
You know what? I
maybe I have an idea, but you tell me why.
No, I don't. First of all, I don't think it sucks. I'm not really anti.
I think it sucks. Obviously,
any other platform. I just think it's about the way that you approach it, right? And the way that they approach building content for kids was actually sifting through everything in the universe that's out there and trying to get to something that you could, use machine learning to pop out for kids.
So YouTube Kids is an algorithm.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I think there are people involved as well. But what happens, though, is you're not talking to kids to understand like what they like or don't like. And when you start to auto filter from a kid's perspective, you generally end up with a lot of not the highest quality content, let's just say. So, right, it's just stuff that passes the filter.
Hence fake news.
Yeah, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't make it good, right? And so that's where we're different. Like, we're looking for a quality bar. We actually talk to kids like on a daily basis and get their feedback on what's good or not. And that really covers everything in Tankee. If you look at our logo, the logo that the adult picked is not the one that you see everywhere, on our app and our site and our T-shirts and everything. It's the one that the kids picked. Kids have been giving us feedback from moment one, from birthday parties and, coming over to my house and stuff. So you have to listen to your audience if you're going to build something for them. And I think a lot of people haven't decided to listen to the kids, in building this.
So a few minutes ago, you talked about how Tankee was really designed for kids, the way Nickelodeon or things was designed for kids, and maybe some of these other things aren't really designed for kids. And one of the things that makes me think of is the commenting system, or not, or what you would call, what I would think of as the commenting system. What's in Tankee in place of the commenting system, and it's something that my kids I know really enjoyed and got a lot out of. Can you tell us a little bit about what's the kids' version of commenting, and why is that different? What makes that both engaging for them and also safe?
Yeah,
and why is commenting a problem to begin with?
So you have to realize that kids don't really love being just broadcast to. Right? The way they're growing up, you can engage with everything. So engagement is really critical on a platform, even if it's a video platform, right? So we knew that we wanted to have engagement as part of Tankee. The problems come in, though, when you have free text engagement, out there, because that's where you run into issues like cyberbullying. And it's really, really easy to trick an algorithm, right? Because you can use a lot of words that aren't 4-letter words to get a point across. And so we wanted to keep engagement, but we wanted to make it safe. And so, one of the things, actually our most popular action within the platform are these stickers that you can use to react to the videos that you're watching. So these stickers are like little emojis that kids can click on, and they also see what other kids are reacting to as well. So you get this, flurry of activity during the videos, and it's surpassed my wildest dreams in terms of just quantity of feedback. And it's the first thing that a kid does, right? So when we showed this to adults, they're like, how are kids going to know to click on this? And why would they?
Because they just start by clicking everything.
Yeah, they touch everything, right? Yeah. It is a touch screen, And so, it's been the most popular thing.
And so why is that okay? What's the constraint? What?
So it's a preset reaction. It's not all happy faces and thumbs ups, right?
Yeah. So they can send a sad face, but you've limited the options, right?
Right. Yeah. We've given them some various responses, and we're going to continue to add to that. So we're going to find more ways that they can throw stuff on the screen to react to the content. But we're talking, over 100,000 stickers have been used on our platform. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's awesome. So another thing I thought that was interesting about Tankee was how you rolled it out, because you didn't just try to get as many people to use it as fast as you could. In fact, there were some other constraints about how you rolled it out and what platforms you chose and how you rolled it out. So can you tell us a little about how you developed Tankee and got it in front of people and rolled it out, and why you made those choices?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our big decision at the beginning was, what platform do you design for when you're in the MVP stage, and you want to see the concept happen, and conventional wisdom would tell you to go and design it for a phone because that's the biggest audience, right? But the more that you research the way that kids watch the content, the iPad is actually the top consumption vehicle, right? And so we took a different tact and decided to build for the iPad first, which again, a lot of developers will develop for iPhone and then just make
Isn't it the same? What's different?
Just scale up, right? For
what do you mean though? What do you mean you developed it for iPad first? What's different?
It's a totally different screen experience with the extra real estate, and it being such a great consumption vehicle. You have to design for that screen versus a phone. You can get more rows of content. You have more space to do things with. And it's the way that ultimately...
So the iPhone version is not just a smaller version.
No.
It's not just shrunk down.
No, we have two different apps, based on the same foundation that really cater towards an iPhone experience and an iPad experience. And we wanted to make it like that. We've been really focused on the interface, the UI being great, like really high quality for kids, as great as we can make it. So that's why we started with the iPad and actually launched our beta in iPad, and then we added iPhone. And now I feel like we have a good experience that's really tailored to both.
Great. Well, hey, so one of the ways I got to know you was through Capital Factory, and you've been through our accelerator here. I've seen you talking with lots of different people and pitching to lots of number of different investors. I've seen you traveling around around the state too. What's been most helpful to you? How many months has it been? How long have you been involved here?
I think we officially joined in September, so it's been a couple of months. I guess we're headed towards our 3-month.
It's about 3 months. What's been most helpful in the beginning stages? If you were giving advice to some other entrepreneur coming in, what should they focus on?
Thank you for introducing me to Texas. It's pretty interesting for us starting a business here in Austin down the street from Capital Factory. But a lot of our initial conversations were with people in LA and New York and San Francisco. And, we really didn't know, given our media focus, if this would be a great space for us. And in joining the accelerator, being accepted into it, and really trying to make the most of every second that we can as being part of Capital Factory, we've had amazing relationship established over the last couple months here in Texas. And by Texas, I mean, Austin, yes, but also Dallas has been really, really great for us. So that's one element. for investors, potential partners that we found through the accelerator. But the other thing is the environment. Being surrounded constantly by other founders and other startups, there's an energy that really keeps you going through the trials of running a startup.
Awesome. Anything else you want to make sure to mention today? Anything else I didn't ask you? I should have.
I think one thing that's really important for us is in the context of screen time. So, screen time is something that we all struggle with, whether it's adults or kids. How much is too much, and what do you do when you're looking at those screens? So Tankee wasn't built to add another hour to the screen time, for kids every day. It was really built as a way to have something for them that's safe for them in the time that they earn. Even in my house, my son has to read in order to gain screen time, and then we're particular about how he uses that time.
It's not all Tankee all the time at the
No,
Youngblood
it's
home.
not. I will say that I was so excited this morning that I woke up and our son was watching one of the new Tankee originals that we released today, the series Fairy Horse Quest, which you might not think would appeal to a male audience, but it's amazing. But he's using that screen time on Tankee and not on some algorithmically generated thing or something that's borderline inappropriate.
Yeah.
Screen time's really important. I wanted to hit that. And then the other thing too is, we need to make sure that we listen to kids and their feedback. They have great ideas. They've definitely helped to shape our company. And I think it's an opportunity for us as parents to connect and maybe watch a video with them on Tankee.
Yeah, those are really great points. I think, this Tankee's not about letting the kids watch more screen time. It's actually more about giving the parents more of their time back so that they don't have to worry and hover over them while they're going and watching it, right? And like with any good company, you got to listen to your customers, and yours are just extra fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today, and thanks for being part of our community. It's been great getting to know you through this. If you want to learn more about Tankee, you can visit tankee.com, which is Tankee, 2 E's at the end, tankee.com. Or you can follow them on Twitter at Tankee Gaming, @Tankee Gaming, for all the latest updates. And Gerald is on Twitter at GC Youngblood. As always, you can email us at podcast@capitalfactory.com if you have any questions, suggestions of people we should interview, or follow us on Twitter at Austinpreneur. That wraps it up, and we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Austinpreneur. To ensure that you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast player. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.